Okay, day 239. We're going to talk about the Chinese bamboo tree today. I don't know if you know what this is, but the Chinese bamboo tree, first of all, I'm going to relate it to the kind of resemblance of our faith and our discipline when nothing seems to be happening, even though we're putting in the work. So here's how the bamboo tree works. First of all, you plant it in the ground and you water it every day, you tend to it, you check on it, and after the first entire year, nothing sprouted, nothing happens. And then year two, same thing. You're watering every day, you're tending to it, and then nothing. Year three, you continue to water it, you got to stay on it, nothing. Year four, you continue to water it, still nothing at all, not a single sprout. But even though nothing visible is growing, what's happening is there's a network of roots that are forming, that are making the bamboo tree healthy and prepared for growth. Because then comes year five, and in year five, it takes only 5 weeks for the tree to sprout up all the way up to 90 feet tall, all within 5 weeks. And here's the question: is like, did the tree grow in 5 weeks or 5 years? Because what was actually happening is the tree was growing and forming this foundation of roots so many years in a row, even when no one saw it. Even when people lost faith that the tree was even going to become alive, it was alive beneath the surface. It was working beneath the surface. Like, those roots were forming, those foundations were deep. And if you would have stopped watering it in year four, you would have killed something that was about to explode with growth. And let's talk about where Scripture kind of breaks this idea down. The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, going Old Testament here, verses 2 through 4. It says, "Then the Lord replied, write down the revelation and make it plain on tablets so that a herald may run with it. For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. See, the enemy is puffed up. His desires are not upright, but the righteous person will live by his faithfulness." So there's a few truths in those verses that I want to tie back to the bamboo tree and to our lives. So the first one is, like, the vision that we have and the effort towards the vision, that stuff is real, even though the outward result might be slow. Like, God tells Habakkuk to write down this vision. It says, make it plain, hold on to it. Like, even if you don't see it growing, just like the bamboo tree, like, our calling and our growth, just like that tree, we are growing. And it may seem buried, but it is real. The growth is forming. It's there. And the second thing I want to talk about is there is an appointed time for this growth to explode beyond the surface. Like, the breakthrough is coming. It's scheduled. And we might not be able to rush it. We got to put in the process. We got to live out the process. We got to put in the work. Whether that's someone that is 5 years out of a career move or growth within their career, whether it's 5 years out of the physical fitness shape that they want to be in, that pie in the sky goal with fitness, or whether it's just that building a relationship, that spiritual relationship, that spiritual training for growth. We might be a few years away from what we want to be. But I had a video so many weeks ago, like I think it was the first week of doing this, maybe day 2, about like, you have to sometimes just suck at something to eventually get better, but we live in this world of immediate gratification where we want to be good now. As like a kid in basketball, I never liked the left-handed layup, so I didn't ever practice it. Probably could have got a little bit better at it if I would have practiced it. But I didn't want to because the right-handed layup was easier. Sometimes you just got to go through the pain of not being very good at the said thing for a season of life, or maybe years. But the breakthrough is coming. And that the thing is, like, we can't dig up in doubt what's been planted in faith. Like, you might be tempted to dig up that Chinese bamboo tree in year 3 or 4 because it ain't sprouting and you think it's never going to. But it's scheduled. You got to be patient. Don't rush the work. And then lastly, point 3 I want to make is The righteous live by faithfulness, not by feelings, not by fads, and not by culture trends or what our culture says is right, but by faithfulness. You just have to keep watering the thing. You got to keep the inputs going, keep the investment going. The roots are getting stronger. And why are the roots getting stronger? So the tree can eventually rise higher. Same with our lives. If the foundation's building stronger, we are going to be able to grow so much more than we ever would have without a strong foundation. So this kind of reminds me of the video I did like a week or two ago about the walls of Jericho and how they had to march 7 laps around. And I was like, don't quit on lap 6. Like in our life, God gave them specific instruction in the book of Joshua, 7 laps and then 7 days. And then on the 7th lap, on the 7th day, yell, and then the walls will come down. It's same with this tree, man. There's so many overlaps here. It's like, for me personally, for example, I worked out really consistently for about 3 years after college. And then because of life circumstances and excuses and priorities getting shifted and some physical health and mental health stuff, I can make all these excuses. But at the end of the day, I just stopped putting in the work. And that was on me. And I stopped for a couple years. And there was a couple failed relaunches, meaning like I would go to the gym consistently again for like 4 to 6 months, but then take a month off because I'd get frustrated. You want to be back to where you were after the first 3 years. Finally, you have to look yourself in the mirror and get spiritually right, get physically and mentally right, and say, hey, I'm not going to be back at the end of year 3, starting tomorrow. It's going to take years again, but I'm just going to start again. And I can truthfully say for the last 582 days, I've been consistent, like recommitted fully, giving it darn near my all. I don't want to say my all because there's always more we could do, but I've been, I would say, recommitted fully to health and fitness for at least the last 582 days. And that seems cool. I'm not tooting my horn though, because at the end of the day, that's still not that long. I still feel like I'm in year 2 maybe of this like bamboo example. There's still years to go to get that real breakthrough. But the good news is we are closer than we think. Like, just keep putting in the inputs one step in front of the other every single day. And not everything's going to be a perfect 5-year stretch, but like that bamboo example, man, like you just got to put in the work in private year after year, day after day. And eventually those inputs will shoot beyond the surface, whether it's a career goal, a fitness goal, a spiritual goal. Like the bamboo tree, 5 weeks, it shoots up 90 feet. But that only happens because of the work from year 1, 2, 3, and 4. Without that, the tree's not growing at all beyond the surface. So again, in closing, it's like, how do we continue to put in this work, even though you might not have any positive reinforcement, not a ton of encouragement maybe around you, not a lot of applause from people, or maybe you're not seeing any tangible reward. That's where this discipline that I talk about comes in, man, is just keep putting in the work. And some days and some seasons it might feel crazy, but you're just continuing to put in the work no matter what. Against all odds, against all costs, you're continuing to show up day after day, year after year. And just, this is the reminder to not stop in silence. Don't stop in the silence even when things get dull or mundane. Don't stop in the slow season or the stressful season. Like, God's not done with us. He's going to ensure that our roots are ready. We just got to continue to keep watering. Day 239.